All right, let's rock and roll, y'all. Cool. So, if you don't know who I am the founder and creator of the Poet Life, and uh, this is an awesome time tonight. We like to meet on a monthly basis. The founder of the Poet Life and the Poetry Business Network. What is the Poetry Business Network? It was established out of need, out of desire to bring like minds together and do more than the norm. What is the norm? The norm is open mics. We love open mics for the community, the opportunity to practice and get better as poets, right? But where was the space? Where is the space where we can discuss, the old adage of there's no money in poetry, right? There's no career in poetry. There's no way that we can do more with our poetry. It's just what it is, and that's how it's going to be. Everybody else in their art forms get to do it for a living except us, right? And and I just couldn't get with that program. And so what we do here is encourage each other, inform each other, educate each other through our lived experiences on how each of us was able to do more with their poetry. All right. And uh, as you go along on your journey, you're going to notice that some people are doing more, some people are doing less. And a lot of it has to do with knowledge. Most of it has to do with knowledge, whether I know how or I don't. Okay. So, quite simply, I came into poetry around first grade, and, you know, the teacher gave us an assignment to uh, create a poetry book, not write one, but create one with cardboard, with the soft felt material, glue it on, staple it together, stick the paper in there, write the poetry, right? Like 10, we're talking about first grade. And that whole process pulled me in and didn't let me go, right? And from there, for me, I'm a futurist. So I look towards the future. Like I want to do this for a living. And everybody was saying, like they tell you all, it's not possible. You need to go to school, go to college, and get the job and be miserable. You know, and so for me, I said, okay, all right, I get it. All right, so I'm going into IT. Put my pen down. I wrote for myself, but when it's related to your purpose, you can't run away from it. It's going to chase you down. And so, with seeing you all here, it's been chasing y'all down. It, it's it's uh it's like we're in a fraternity slash sorority because we almost have the same stories in certain ways, right? And so I just want to encourage you and let you know that the information, the knowledge is here. And we just want to share it as we go along, not when we get there, not when we get to the destination. As we gain more knowledge, we like to share it as we go. Okay. And I encourage you to do the same thing because I say this all the time, there's always somebody behind you. Always. Even if you're just starting, there's somebody behind you because there's somebody that wish they had the courage to start. And even before then, there's somebody that doesn't know what their purpose is. And there's always somebody behind that person. Okay. All right. So something that share it with somebody. So we're gonna get this thing started, y'all. Um, let's throw in the chat real quick. Where are you from? do me that favor. Let's see what kind of world we've created in this live. Talk to me. Let's look at it. Let's see where we're from. We got Texas, Jamaica, Rock Island, Illinois, Atlanta, Oregon, Jamaica, Ohio, Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica's in the house. Let's go. Jamaica chapter of the Poetry Business Network is here. Ohio, St. Louis, yes, Maryland. Aaliyah, you near me? I'm in Maryland too. Sweet, sweet. Huntsville, Alabama, but from London, England. Beautiful. This is crazy. This is awesome. And I want you all to see this, Texas. I'm from New York, Ontario. Got you. Okay, North New York, Ontario, Canada. Got you. I want you all to see how possible exactly, Latoya, is growing. It's growing. Last time we only had but I want you all to see how simple it is. Not easy, nothing's ever easy, right? But how simple it is for you to create your own networks, your own international networks, if you work your network. Right? So you see these locations. You might see a location in the chat that says, I've always wanted to go to Jamaica. And what's wild is I've been to Jamaica, but I haven't been to Jamaica before I went to Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica through vacations, right? And where they say, enjoy the resort, don't go off the resort, you know. And I said, I want to go to Jamaica, like I want to go to Jamaica. I don't want to go for vacation. And here's a part where you'll learn how to like really make connections internationally, especially because you're a poet. The fact that you're a poet means you're a part of an unnamed fraternity. Okay? I'm able to do a search that says hashtag Jamaican poets. And then who do I connect with? Mr. Trowers over here, who coincidentally also went to Howard University. Howard University is in DC, down the street from where I am right now, right? And we start connecting. He starts to connect me with some folks, but also Fabian. Fabian was a major key. Fabian Thomas, what's up, man? How are you, sir? It's just like that. It's an Instagram DM to say, listen, this is what I do. Like right here, this is what I do. I think I can add value to you out there in Jamaica. And then the conversation started to happen. And then, I don't know, a month or two later, I'm in Jamaica teaching at Edna Manley University. I know I said it all wrong, but they understand who I'm talking about, or what university I'm talking about. And so I bring this up because I want to make sure that we're using social media intentionally. Okay. I know everybody's on TikTok talking about Kendrick Lamar and and Trump and whoever else, right? But like if we really started to use social media the way we should be using it as people who are intentionally trying to go somewhere. Edna Manley College for Visual Arts and Performing Arts. That's exactly why I got it wrong. Thank you, Fabian. I appreciate you, sir. I said the two main names, Edna Manley, right? But listen, Queen Sheba. Oh, listen, Queen Sheba's about to come in here. If you don't know Queen Sheba, she was just nominated for a Grammy as a poet. Hey, Queen Sheba, I'm just letting you know. I just shouted you out real quick. Queen, what's up? She just was nominated for a Grammy 2 years in a row. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Queen, but I saw your name come up and I said, oh, I gotta introduce her.
I was already in here as somebody else. I was
Oh,
t
okay. Got you. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Got you, got you. So just like that, you're in a room with a Grammy nominated poet. And poetry has only been a category for 3 years. For 3 years. And she's been nominated the past 2 years. And got to introduce somebody. Who did you introduce, Queen?
I introduced Tim's, Michelle and Cello, um, Sheila E, a bunch of people, Matt B, 11 people.
Wow. Wow. That's dope. That's dope. It's a beauty to see how poetry is growing. All right, so let's do this. All right, and I want to take up all the time. This is where we start. So we know where everybody's from. Queen Sheba's in it. Are you still in Atlanta, Queen, or are you in North Carolina?
I'm the one who said ATL ho.
Got you. ATL. But this is where we start. We want to call out our wins. We meet every month and we start with celebrating. I was just coaching. Matter of fact, I was just coaching Jay Talawa, and yesterday he just graduated from the Poet Transformation cohort. And so, first of all, I just want to clap it up for Jay Talawa. He established his business as Talawa Poetry. I would imagine in Jamaica it's LTD, right? Or was that England? What is it, Casey, in Jamaica?
I mean, it's limited. I'm assuming it's a limited liability company. So
Okay,
I'm
so
assuming it's
LTD. So
LTD.
it's the
Yeah.
same as England. Okay, cool. Yes. So for 3 days, he and I worked together to establish his poetry business. He is now a poetry business owner, and he invested in himself and made it happen. And we worked hard for 2 hours per day, 3 Mondays consecutively, and in those 3 days, he is fully from poet to poetry business owner. So congratulations, Jay Talawa. Raise your hand so they can see who we talking about. My guy out there in Jamaica. So it's a beautiful thing. Congratulations. That's a big move, y'all. And we're going to understand why in just a few. All right. So what are some wins, everybody? I'll take three over the mic. So raise your hand, and then everybody else can drop them in the comments. So what do I mean by wins? It could be as small as somebody was interested in me to perform. Somebody wanted me to write a poem for weddings. Somebody just responded to an email that I sent, or it. I was telling him all wins are wins. Celebrate all your wins. Don't discriminate. Don't say this win is just too small to even consider. Celebrate all your wins. All right. So I got two hands, and then I'm gonna read the comments too. All right. I got Esty. Let's talk about it. Go for it.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. What's up, everybody? So my win is I am facilitating a spoken word contest for a church in California. So
Nice.
this is a win for me.
That's
And if anyone who is in the US would like to enter, I have the details for the contest in the school community. So please go check that out. If you're not in California, you will be flown out to California. It is for their Easter Sunday service. So you got to write a custom piece for their service. Well, it's for Good Friday, but your Good Friday piece will open up the Easter service. So it's dope. So please go check out the details and enter. But that's my win. This is my first facilitation of a poetry contest. So this is a big one for me.
That's huge. You got a church to say we'll fly out a poet. Listen, that's not a small feet at all. Are you y'all y'all don't hear me, bro? Like it's a big thing to say I can get some poets, locally, I'll have them to come out, but you got a church to say, let's create some nationwide engagement. That's pretty much what's happening here. Right? So SD figured out the way to say, all right, or ask the question, what kind of engagement do you want with this project? Do you want local engagement, or do you want the country and beyond to know about your church? Let's do a poetry contest, and let's allow poets from around the country to submit. And if you have the budget, let's fly them out. Man, I'm getting goosebumps. That's beautiful. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, so drop the link in the comments if you can, SD, so they can just click the link and go ahead and submit or express their interest. All right, beautiful win. And again, don't feel like my win is too small to even announce. Again, I don't care if somebody shot you a DM to say, hey, shoot me a video of you performing a poem. I don't care what it is. All right. Queen Sheba, go for it.
Small win is no, I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to do that. My win is that Bailey told me about your workshop, and so I'm super excited to be here. That is the I love you and I think you're great and I want to learn everything from you. So that is a massive win. And I'm going on tour with the Flow Assist for National Poetry Month.
Whoa. That's crazy. Where y'all going?
Oh, let me tell you. We are going to hold on. We are going to we're gonna start Atlanta, Philly, Boston, Nashville, St. Louis, Chicago, Raleigh, Greenville.
Sheesh.
And then we're gonna circle back so we're gonna be doing a poetry set each. We're gonna have 2 to 3 openers max, who are gonna do 2 pieces max, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna do 30 minutes each.
Ooh.
And then she's gonna circle back with her band for a bunch of June dates, and I'm going to host an open, maybe one other opener, maybe, and then she's gonna do an hour with her band, and that's Chicago, St. Louis, like 10 more cities.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be hanging out all summer.
That's awesome.
We are going to tape a live album called A Woman's Words, the play off of the song A Woman's Worth,
Ooh.
and submit the live album together for the Grammys this year.
Really? See, that's smart. That is very smart to not just do one thing, and now you have other verticals connected to that one thing and let it keep on living.
It started as a phone call, and I don't know about you other Black women creatives. You know how you get on the phone with your sister girl and you're like, hey, you want to go to lunch? And an hour later, you've created a whole poetry festival. Like that's what happened. We were like, hey, do you want to feature at my show? I'll come to London and feature at your show. And then we created a Woman's Words tour festival merchandise. We've planned 2 years in the future now, and it's great.
Isn't that what I just said? That's exactly what I just said. It's a conversation. It's a DM. It's intentionality. Like start moving, and your movement will create an attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to work with somebody that's not moving, because that means that other person has to drag you along.
Work begets work. Stage begets stage.
If your car broke down and you're on the side of the road and you're not pushing it, no one's pulling over. If people don't see you working, they're not stopping to help you. I'm trying to tell you. So again, doesn't have to be big movement. All right. One more person, Dion Davis. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong.
No, you said it fine. Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
how you doing?
So, a win for me. Last year, I was a classroom teacher.
Dion, where are you from? You have to say where you're
Oh,
from.
I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. I put it in the chat there. I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. Big up on yourself because the Jamaican massive large.
I love it.
Yeah. So last year I was a classroom teacher teaching literature and language, English language, and I was pretty frustrated. This year I was able to, so the end of last year into this year, I was able to successfully approach a radio station, conceptualize a poetry program, and I have done about 10 interviews so far of Jamaican poets that are in Jamaica operating. And yeah, so that is a big win for me.
Nice.
And in conceptualizing the program, I was just thinking about me and the experiences I've had with children, students that I teach, and how much they hate poetry. And I
Right.
really wanted to, yeah, I really wanted to, you know, put it out there that poetry is more than just something that you do in school that is going to give you grades. It's a form of expression. It is learning to understand the people through the spoken word. So I was able to do that. And there are few people that I've interviewed right now on this platform because they invited me into the poetry community, which I had an idea that, well, there must be others like me around, but I didn't know it was so well organized and there are so many people, so many wonderful people. Big up yourself, Simone, Casey. I see Britain on here, and I would like to send an invitation out to all of the people that are interested, all of the Jamaicans that are interested in featuring their work on the program. They can just reach out to me through Poetry Life or through Casey, or I'll leave my number here, as well as the station name for them to just reach out.
Nice. Nice. Congratulations. So you created your own platform.
I'm streaming from a radio station, so I created the program,
Got it.
but it is on mainstream media, not social media, which
Got you.
I feel proud of as well, because anybody can go on social media, but it takes a little bit more for you to go on radio. So I really feel good about that.
Right. Now you started that program, right? As far as what you do with the platform.
Yes,
Got it.
yes,
Got it. Now when I say platform, there's two definitions or connotations of the word platform. Obviously, like Zoom is a platform, Facebook is a platform, right? But you created your own brand's platform that attracts people to you.
yes.
Yes.
And the station manager, when I pitched the idea to him, he was very hesitant because he was saying that, well, I don't know if you can find so many poets. And remember, it's every week. There are 52 weeks in the year. And I'm like, yes, Mr. Kirkland, people are out there. I am sure, because we are an expressive people and we're talented. So I will be able to find people. I had that faith. And it's been working.
I love it. I love it. So this is a perfect example of how you can become an international poet by connecting with other poets in other countries. She has a radio opportunity in Jamaica. So your name can be known in Jamaica and beyond. Right? So it's like that because we asked the question, how can I grow? How can I do more? It's making connections. It's opening your mouth and talking and letting people know who you are and what you have to offer. You never know who you're talking to, and that person you're talking to might not have anything for you, but they know people who do. That's how that works. It's the chain, right? Beautiful. So wins are huge. And let me run through these real quick. Bailey said last weekend I just won 2 IHA awards based out of Augusta, Georgia, for Best Male Poet of the Year and Best Male Motivational Speaker of the Year. Beautiful. Now you said 2 things right there: poet and public speaker. Why aren't more poets public speakers? The reason I asked that question is poetry is in its infancy as it relates to business, right? It's not a full out industry to where it's established and, you know, people know that we're here, right? But public speaking is. I said this on social media in a reel one time. We have to, in certain situations, all situations, evaluate the situation to where it may not be wise to lead with poetry in this situation because the person I'm talking to may not have an affinity for poetry. They might hate it, but they love public speaking or they're connected to public speaking. Okay, develop that skill and infuse spoken word or just poetry into your presentation of public speaking. It's the let me get in the door with my tool belt, my tools in my tool belt. What do I have in my tool belt? Right? But let's not be so prideful to say it has to start with poetry. No, it doesn't. You're going to limit yourself. Right? So congratulations, Bailey. When you lead with other things that people can relate to, you'll be able to do more poetry because you're in the building now. That other skill that you have got you in the door. And now when you're in there, you can fill the holes with poetry. Congratulations, baby. Let me see what we got. Woo, good gracious. Hold on. Got you. Links. All right, cool. Sweet. Casey, go ahead. I'm gonna let you be the last one.
All right. So Casey from Kingston, Jamaica. I have to say it loud and proud.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. All right. So Jamaica, I don't want to just speak on behalf of myself. I'd say Jamaica has had a lot of wins. So I'm the founder of Jaiku. I'm seeing my co-founder here, Britton, right? And Talawa has also played his own role in getting us off the ground. So big up all of y'all. And Jaiku has been making a lot of wins. We've had a lot of wins. So Jaiku launched last year, we launched the Caribbean chapter of the International Authors Forum. And then this month, we officially became a member of the IAF. It has over 700, it represents over 700 author organizations and over 80,000 authors. So we're the second in the region to do it. And so I'm not going to attend in person, but we've been invited to the annual general meeting in Paris. And in addition to that, because we're now a member, we are given the authority to represent the IAF at various fora. So several of us here, myself, Britton, Talawa, we all participated in the inaugural St. Mary Literary Festival last year. And so this year, the IAF is even considering, giving some sponsorship to facilitate us participating again on their behalf at the St. Mary Literary Festival to continue to advance the public awareness of authors' rights, i.e. poets' rights, and how poets can make money and protect their intellectual property by understanding the role of copyright. So that's just one of a lot of wins that we've had. And I know that myself and Britton, we had another win over Valentine's weekend. So I know that Christoph talks about leading with something else. So this one was interesting because we led with jazz. So I had, yeah, it's been something that's in a way has been almost 2 years in the making because I'm friends with a couple of jazz musicians, and these are guys who've headlined major jazz festivals in Jamaica. They've toured, they've appeared on BET, like these guys are big stuff. And they just want, and when I pitched the idea of doing it to poetry, my friend Emily did it last year, and it just, I mean, it was amazing. And so she plays the cello, and then my friend who plays the keyboard, BET in front of 20 million people plays the keyboard. He says, yeah, man, I want to jump on board. And then somebody else who has been a professional guitarist for 40 years, he's like, yeah, man, I'll come and play with you guys. And so I had these exceptional musicians curate original pieces of music to my poems. So it's an interesting way to lead with poetry to get yourself into different spaces. So now the jazz space is going to be, I'm speaking it right now, is going to be infused with a whole lot more Jaiku poets going forward.
You just said something huge, Casey. Right before you said what you said, I said the tools in your tool belt. You don't have to have any tools in your tool belt. But because Casey has tools in hers, I can leverage hers and partner with her. I don't have to have been nominated for any Grammys, but I can tap the shoulder of Queen Sheba and say, I got this project, I got this event. I would love for you to be a part of this. Obviously, I'm going to make sure I charge well enough to pay well enough to get Queen Sheba. That's why it's so important to learn how to charge well. When I say charge well, first time I said that to my daughter, I'm teaching her business. She was like, "You mean charge your phone well?" It's like, no, just like charging for your services, right? And another reason is because if I'm a business, I can't partner with a person. It's unequally yoked. That term works for all relationships, right? So you're doing yourself a disservice by not making the transformation from poet to poetry business owner. Would love to work with you, but I can't because we don't speak the same language. So when I pull you into this meeting, you don't understand what's happening, right? And you're leveraging my brand, and I'm not able to leverage yours, right? So it's important for us to be able to both put our logos on this flyer, right? I'm partner in the Poet Life in partnership with Jaiku Poetry, as opposed to so-and-so, unless your stage name is your business. And that happens. And there's a lot of poets who have made their stage name their business. So-and-so the Poet LLC. All good, beautiful. All right. So it behooves you to make that transformation. All right. Now we talked about the wins. That's the fun part. But let's talk about the lessons, not the losses. You learn a whole lot more through the lessons. I'm able to do what I'm doing right now because of all of my lessons. It's not because of the wins. It's because of all of what the world knows to be failures, of going down the wrong path, take a year to get back, to go a different route, get out of debt because of the investment I put into that, right? I only know what I know because of my lessons. All right. So we talked about our wins. Let's talk about these lessons. What have you learned? What hardships? What else we want to call them? You know, what roadblocks? What's stopping you? What's slowing you down? Let's talk about it. Raise your hand and I'm gonna call you. Latoya, talk to me.
Hello, everybody. So, I had that reopening celebration at the library a couple weekends ago.
Yep.
And I had asked, so long story short, I need to ask some more upfront questions and
Yes.
not assume, especially when it comes to the behind the scenes and preparation parts and not just focusing on the actual event itself. Because especially I think since it was a new space because of the remodel, I don't think either of us was thinking that it would be necessary to do not necessarily a sound check, but still a technology check. Because I had made it clear that I would be needing, AV equipment set up. And it wasn't ready. Also, the room wasn't ready for me to go in and set up. Even though I had asked that and requested that, and then they were so busy that, probably she just hung up with me and didn't write it down or didn't pass that information on, so that when the day of the event came, it was just it was a bit chaotic. So I wasn't able to get into the space and have a space to myself to set up, even as I was setting up my stuff, like little goodie bags, swag bags. Like literally, I was setting up on the table and people were trying to swipe them off the table. Didn't, there was technology issues because I didn't get in there early and test it out myself. And a lot of it was new to the actual staff as well, because the day of the event was their first day back reopened. You know what I'm saying? So, it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. It left me a little flustered. And then even though we went through that day one, because remember, I got a great opportunity to go back the second day. And even though we went through that day one, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna need this ready for me tomorrow. And then I get there tomorrow and the same thing happens. So so yeah, that was a bit frustrating, a little disappointing, but also I can own some of that.
Right.
And say, especially since I did have access to the space, beforehand, that I just need to take some extra steps, and or maybe it's time for me, just like you hopped on the call with me, maybe it's time for me to have kind of like a as needed assistant, who's able to kind of go and represent for me with some things, since I'm only one person right now. But it just really opened my eyes to, because I only had an hour each time, and we ended up getting started late both times. And then the scheduling, they did not leave enough space between events for enough setup and cleanup. And so those were just some of the things that I'm like, this was great. But those bumps that I can learn from next time,
Yeah. Yeah, write all those down. Write all of those down. And it needed to happen. Like you said, it needed to happen because you now know in your discovery call and beyond your discovery call, you want to stay in communication to make sure that that checklist that you've created or you should have created for yourself as far as the day of logistics, they have even if they're sloppy on their end, you make sure that they're clean and neat on for you, right? So yeah. So every time you follow through a system or a process, you keep on making sure that you add to your checklist and make sure that you follow through on that checklist.
And just, if I can add real quick too, having my own photographer and videographer, because they had a photographer but it's been almost 2 weeks and I
Mm,
still don't have that footage.
yeah,
So that's frustrating as well. So I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna have to really, that's what they say is the cost to be the boss. You know
for
what
sure.
I mean? Like I'm just gonna have to do that because it's just added frustration and now I don't have that footage and I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna get that footage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I make that a point to bring my own photographer slash videographer. One for social media content, the behind the scenes, all of that. I don't care if it's my brother, my cousin. It doesn't have to be somebody super professional. All I need you to do is set up a tripod and also follow me so I can capture that, right? Um, so yeah, no, most definitely. I got scammed by what I thought was an artist in the Philippines. Trust but verify for sure. I used to be in drop shipping and things of that nature, so I remember those days. I've gotten scammed by overseas things of that nature. Lesson: when recording with sound, ensure the voice is the dominant sound. If people can't hear the words clearly, part of the essence of your piece is lost for sure. As you can see, where is that? I have a lapel microphone that's connected to my cell phone or whatever camera, right? Invest in that, right? Because even if the video isn't the greatest, the sound needs to be. All right. So I have two different types. I think I have Hollyland. This is Hollyland, and then I have DJI as well. All right. So look on Amazon, and definitely invest in that for sure. Let's see what we got. That's cool. Cool. All right. Cool. Um, everybody just winning, huh? Nobody got no lessons. Just everything working out well. Is that how this works? This
No,
is okay. Talk to me.
we,
Yeah. Go ahead, Talawa.
yeah, so hi everyone, Javonil Charles or Jay Talawa, CEO of Talawa Poetry, where we transform poetry and performance to help as we use poetry and performance to assist with self-mastery. So my thing that I learned in my coaching session with Christoph was poetry is already a big enough niche. We had discussed the idea of I wanted to niche even down from not just a poetry business, but a poetry business that specifically help boys within a specific age group. He suggested that could be a program. It doesn't necessarily have to define your entire business, as you're going to limit yourself and you may want to help many different people throughout your journey as a business owner 5 years from now. So that was one of the big things that I learned from the coaching session.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He wanted to further niche down to just helping boys and men, right? And I shared with him, hey, poetry is already niche down. It's niche down enough to the world. It's not niche down to us, but to the world, poetry is super niched down, right? The poet life is niche down. So you don't want to further uh pigeonhole yourself, right? Like when I first started, um the Poet Life was a clothing line. It was Poet Life gear, right? That's the small vision I had for it. But then as I started to move along, I saw voids, I saw gaps, and I saw things that need to be filled, and I started to fill those. And then I had to change my social media and the whole brand to something completely different, right? Some of y'all were here before there was a Poetry Business Network, when I was talking to two audiences at once with the Poet Life, and I was confusing the people and I was confusing myself. Didn't know what to post because I didn't know who I was talking to with the post that I was posting, right? And so I realized that I had to separate the two audiences, because if you don't, Again, you'll separate the people that's seeing what you're putting out, and I said separate, you'll confuse the people that are seeing what you're putting out and confuse yourself and not know what to post, and then you won't post. All right, Pierre, go for it.
Something I learned is my lesson is that it's okay to take small steps instead of taking huge, big steps. Because you can get very overwhelmed.
Mm.
Yeah,
No, that's
that's something
huge.
I learned.
No, that's
Because I've
good.
been taking really big steps sometimes, and I realized that I could just start off small
Right.
and work my way up.
No, that's good. Right. And that's why I was saying celebrate the small wins, because when you're only going for the home run and you strike out, now you down in the dumps. Right. So mix it up a bit. Right. You might need to pause on the big stuff and focus on the small stuff. Do I have my website in place? Do I have my EPK, my electronic press kit? Do I have, right, a mission statement, vision statement, a tagline? Those are the small things that make huge impact. Those small things say that you are a professional, and you take those small details into consideration, right? And so when people see that, that means when he or they are working on my stuff, then I know he will make sure that they focus on the small details, right? But you got to show it by showing your work. All right, cool. Lesson: make offers every. Ooh, SD. That's huge. There's no opportunities without offers. Make offers every day. Get systems in place so I am showing up when I'm not, even when I'm not. Major key. Like, there's a reason why it says poet life. This is a lifestyle. This isn't just something I'm playing around with on the side, right? So when you going outside, you should be talking about who you are and what you have to offer. Like it all, like there's a reason why I always have this hat, always like the uniform is on to where I don't have to even open my mouth at times because I'm speaking loudly enough. Right? I had a polo shirt on yesterday, and that was a birthday gift from my wife and my kids because it was a plain polo shirt. It was they got me three of them, a blue one and a black one and a white one, and they went to the middle of the mall with a stitch and all of that. They took my logo, emailed it to them, and now I got three polo shirts that say Poet Life. The shirt was $5. I think it cost $7 to stitch it on. Right, $12 shirts. They spent $36. Now I have three shirts to rotate. Right. So think about those small investments. It makes a big impact. All right. Good. Good. Aubrey, I got a roadblock, but still with the student. He's with a student now. I've been feeling burnt out, frustrated, in parentheses, maybe even impatient, though I've been a decade in as a performance poet. Got you. With my progression in my performance poetry career. I know I'm doing all the right things, staying active as a feature at open mics outside of my area, getting coached by poets such as Ephraim. Ephraim is a beast, straight beast. Beast means good. and and Black Chakra, both amazing. But it feels like I'm hitting a glass ceiling in getting the big features on big platforms. All right, here we go. So I'm using you all's experiences to teach. All right. So when I hear feature, I hear that you're staying within the poetry community. That's what I hear. All is well with that, but you don't have as many options as possible. How many open mics are in your area? And let's just say you got all of them in 1 month. All right, what happens next month? They're not booking you again for another feature for another 6 months, right? Because they gotta spread it out, right? And so what I'm encouraging you to do is to diversify, go beyond the poetry community, and show yourself approved to churches, to schools, to organizations. Here you go. Here's one. If you haven't already, you need to make an inventory of the subject matter of all your poems. Here's why you need to do that. Your poems become your products. And you need to know what causes you're connected to. You need to know what subject matter, what topics you're talking about in your poems. Because if you're talking about depression, there are organizations that advocate and fight for people fighting with depression. And they would love to hear your story of how you are fighting through it or have fought through it. And they would love for you to come and talk to those students, those people, perform for those students, those people, because you have an attractive, creative way to present your testimony. And these people need it. If it's about cancer, if it's about domestic violence, if it's about joy, if it's about DEI, right now, in the month of February, we have we started what we call Poet Life prompts, and each prompt is related to current affairs. This is our way to get poets to start talking about what's happening today. And there's a lot happening today. And you want to be seen? Talk about what's happening today. Write about what's happening today. Post that video. And see if a podcast, a television show, or if it doesn't go viral because of all of everybody talking about what's happening today. So this month, we're focusing on DEI, the truth about DEI, because we know that they are trying their darndest to make synonymous DEI to mean Black people are not smart enough, basically. So we need voices to say, this is what DEI really means. And to be honest, in the workforce, only 4% of Black people actually benefit from DEI. We're not even the ones on a major scale benefiting, right? But people don't know that. They only hear the propaganda and they believe it. So let me put this in the chat real quick. And what am I talking about? This is an idea that we had. Oh, I'll just put that in direct message. This is an idea that we had on our end to be what the poets are supposed to be, and that is the voice and the messengers of the times. It's very important to get back to where we were very prominent, and that's the messengers of the times, right? So in the future, there are poems about what's happening. There are performances about what's happening, but also in a selfish way, it's a great way to be seen. This is a great way to be booked, go to thepoetlife.com/prompts. I'm not sure what the topic is going to be in March, but it'll be whatever's happening in the world. All right. And I bring that up for several reasons, but another reason is, again, this was an idea that we had. Several poets from around the world have submitted for that. And what we plan to do is to collect those, push those to social media, but also do what I'm telling you all to do, and that is to connect with organizations to say, hey, so-and-so the poet wrote this amazing poem about DEI, the truth about DEI. I think you all should do a piece on this. I think you all should do an article or a story. I think you should call this poet and interview this poet and post this poem to your broadcast. That's a strategy. What's happening? What's going on? What is everybody talking about that I can give my perspective on? Okay. All right, cool. Wins, roadblocks, strategies now. Let's talk about these strategies. Okay. It's very important to know how to get around the roadblocks. It's not enough to know that you have roadblocks. Okay. Anybody else have any more roadblocks that we can speak on real quick? I just want to make sure I don't leave anybody else. Everybody moving at a pace that they want to move. That means everything
absolutely.
is.
I want to speak on what could have been. What could have been it's still a challenge. It's still a space of resistance, but it's something I'm consciously aware of and working through. So it's a situation that I'm going to share that it could have potentially been a roadblock if not for the mindset that I have, and also very importantly, if not for having the right people around me, support system. As poets, we need a solid support system and the unity of the community to help us push beyond our fears or imposter syndromes and things that will limit us and stunt us and stop us from growing. So I had an immense opportunity fall literally right into my lap recently, right? And if I followed my own internal voice, I would have turned the opportunity down because I didn't feel like I was worthy of it or that I was the right person for the job, right? And I had a whole bunch of stuff built up in my head about the person that I was supposed to present for. And the opportunity that I got was to read the work of Jamaica's newly inducted poet laureate. That was the opportunity that I would have turned down if not for the support of a good friend to talk me out of it, and also for that other part of my own inner voice to help me talk sense into myself. Because I had anxieties and fears around the character, the immensity of this person, the immense importance of his place within the poetry community, not just in Jamaica, but on a worldwide scale, because he's a very highly respected and celebrated writer. And I felt intimidated by that opportunity. And if I didn't talk myself into doing it, and also if I didn't have another very supportive person from within the community to convince me that I'm the right person for the job, I would have not had that opportunity and I would have walked away from it.
That's huge, bro.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, I learned so much during that space leading up to it. And it was just a 1 week situation where I got the opportunity and I had 1 week to prepare for it. And that led me down this beautiful journey where I learned so much about the person his work that I was presenting, not just the poem itself, but also the man himself. I took the time to really read the work properly and understand the the foreign words and foreign terms that were within that piece so that I could present it properly. So it goes back to us not letting our fears and imposter syndrome stop us from growing. And I've been down that road, and I'm still treading that road, but I know where I am now, and I'm more inclined now to step beyond those fears.
Mm,
So that's my testimony as it relates to
yeah.
lessons.
Yes, sir. There's two things that you need to go beyond yourself. You need at least one person that believes in you. You need at least one person in your corner that is bigging you up, even when you feel less than. And it happens at every level. It happens at every level. It happens on my level. It happens within me. Right? So there's the need for at least one person, to a point where you have a community like this, right? And it creates positive peer pressure. That's why the wins being shared is so important, because it's not jealousy. It's like, okay, oh, it's go time now, right? If she can do that, I definitely, not to say that, why, not that. It's possible I can do that. Queen Sheba showed us it's possible to stand up there with all these celebrities and feel enough. Like, that's huge. And not be like, oh, I'm just a poet. Nah, like, that makes her stand out. Everybody else the same. She's the one that's standing out. She's the one in the new category. Right? So she's not fitting in. The best thing to do is to stand out. The second part is it takes another level of confidence to go where you're trying to go. I could not do what I'm doing right now. Look at 23 people looking at me if I didn't pray for the confidence to do what I'm doing. I tell it all the time. I didn't want to do none of this. I don't like fame. Because I know what comes with it. But I had to learn that running away from your calling and your purpose stunts your growth. Right? Knowing that you're going to have to speak on stage if you want to be this CEO person, knowing that you're going to have to fire people and hire people. That firing part is hard, but it's a part of the process. Right? So that fear of success is a real thing. It's almost worse than the fear of failure. But then you miss out and then you regret. That's the worst thing. Ask anybody older.
And that's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing that stood out to me about the opportunity. That was the thought process on the very day that I got the full context of what I was being asked to do. Because initially I was very excited when I heard, hey, we would like you to come and read at this investiture ceremony, right? I thought, hey, I'm gonna get paid to recite my own work. Hell yes. But that wasn't the case. They were asking me to do something that I've never done before, which is to read someone else's work, and not just someone else's work, but somebody so significant, such an iconic, highly respected individual within our space, right? I was being honored with that opportunity. And I thought to myself, if I don't do this, I'm going to spend the rest of my life wondering, what if I did? What if I had the guts to actually try? what if I allow this opportunity to fall on somebody else's lap and I see them do it and maybe not do it to the level that I know I can do it, simply because I was too afraid to step out.
The biggest part about that is the fact that they asked you means they believe in you,
Absolutely.
right? And you
Absolutely.
can't let somebody else have more faith in you than you do.
True.
But what you can do is leverage their faith in you to increase yours.
Absolutely.
Oh man, like that means they really see something in me that I don't see. But the best part about it is I don't have to race and run and chase to go get it. It's already inside of me. I just have to access it. Yeah. Yeah. Queen Sheba, talk to me about the first time you were nominated. And I know you've done some amazing things, big stages and things of that nature, but was that a scary situation?
Yeah, you know, I will, because I believe that you're the first person. I have a, you know, my spiritual belief is how I believe. We talked about a bit about this on your podcast, and you're the first person to hear what you think and say.
Right.
And so whatever you think and say, just like Henry Ford said, if you think you can or can't, you're right. So I'm always afraid, that's right, Pierre. So I'm always afraid to say something negative or adverse because I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to say it, right? So the first time I was nominated, I was in Jamaica, ironically, all the Jamaicans, right? I was in Jamaica on a cycling trip, a road bike cycling trip with my cycling crew. And I have a very hilarious picture because y'all see my long nails. So after the cycling trip, we went ATVing, and I've never been ATVing. And I was so scared. I was riding so slow. Everybody behind me was like, beep, 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 beep. And so I ran into a tree and like broke a nail down to the blood. And so on my Grammy nomination day, like there's blood like dripping all over. So it just shows like your day can be like a regular normal day. But anyway, long story short, when I got nominated, we just came off cycling because in Jamaica it's either hot or hotter. I also didn't know that after it rains in Jamaica, it's hotter instead of cooler. I did not realize that. So it poured on us while we were cycling, which was fine with us. That part was fine. So I take off my cycling shirt, thinking I'm gonna be cooler with the wet. No, I burned. I don't know what's wrong with y'all weather. It's backwards there. So, so I burn up. So we come back and I'm getting into my hotel room and my partner is like, sit down, it's about to come on. So I get nominated and there's actually a delay because Shihan knew before me in LA. So he knew about it. It's on the, well, they're 3 hours behind, but it's on the same time zone as Atlanta. But he texted me and said, congratulations. But I was like, no, I got to see it for myself.
Right.
So I'm in Jamaica and then dripping wet and then you know burning up hot and then I get the text message from Shihan and then I see it and I start screaming. I scream over the pool. I'm like, I got Grammy nominated, and everybody at the pool is looking up like, who are you? We don't know you. Like like we don't care. Like you're interrupting our pool time. And but after that I made a mistake and thought I'm not gonna win. Yep, I made a mistake and thought, and the reason I thought that is because I don't know what to do now, right? I didn't know the process now. Like, how do I win? And so I kind of went through the process, just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, just kind of, you know, I didn't know really what to do. So I just was kind of went back to like posting online and reaching out to some media people I had. And then it wasn't until December, which is way late in the game. As a matter of fact, y'all, November 8th, the day the Grammy nominations happen, is way late in the game for what I'm about to tell you. And what I'm about to give you is free game, Lord. So way late in December, I just happened to be talking to my homegirl, Leslie, in Philadelphia. And she was like, yeah, so what is your PR person having you do? I said, P what? Like, I mean, I know what a PR person is, but she was like, you don't have a PR person? I was like, no, like it's just me and my friend Don. Like she's like, oh my God. So she like calls 2 PR people and she finally gets me one who is like frantically trying to call like people to get me in media. So I learned later, which I applied to this year, that you should have a PR person from go, from the time you decide to do an album. So PR doesn't start from the time you decide you want to. Of course, you and your team should decide if you're going to submit to the Grammys or not. So if everybody doesn't have to. I will tell you this, y'all, for the poets, and I don't know what other genres are on here. If you decide to submit to the Grammys, it is not, and I cannot emphasize this enough through my fists, it is not a 2-3 month thing. You now live this. This is now an everyday, all day process. It's a whole nother family. It's a whole nother set of people. Hey girl, hey, you want to go to lunch? And I mean organically, and some politics, but that's just how life is. It's and I also learned this year in general, I'll keep it light, where I thought, and I'll just blame everything on me, where I thought our genre was going to be this purest genre where we're not going to fall into the hands of politics. Oh no, no, wrong. We are in politics. And I'll just keep it light and just say that where we thought we were going to escape the politics of the entertainment world, well, guess what? We didn't. We are right there along with every other genre and every other reason. I can't and won't give you what I know, but I would just say that if you decide as a poet to submit your album for the Recording Academy, we want you to. We want everybody to. More importantly, we want you to become voting members of the Recording Academy. If you would like whenever there are people, there's politics. Hello, thank you, Casey. If you would like to become a voting member of the Recording Academy, no matter what genre, but so that you can vote in the poetry category, you can reach through Christoph or reach me on IG in my DM. I do not reply to anybody anymore that does not follow me. It's a small ask. You want information? The information is free. All you gotta do is follow me. And it's just I just learned so much, man. Maybe one day, and not saying it like he won't, but I mean, because he has before, but like he said about features, he's already had me as a feature on his podcast. So he's got to make room for other people. So, but one day when my rotation comes again, then I'll give y'all the game on what I learned at the Grammys. But when I tell y'all, woo and woo. But what I will say is it's an all day, every day thing. It's you can no longer just be like, oh yeah, I think I'm just gonna. You cannot post and ghost. You know how we do. We put up our picture, and then go to lunch. We forgot all about. You cannot post and ghost when you decide that you want to. My IG is the Queen Sheba. Just put a the in front of my name. That's all my social media everywhere. I have 27 social medias. And I will give you some free game. Get Social Pilot. It's really inexpensive for an artist. Social Pilot helps you post on more than one social media. I think I have 17 or 20 for $40 a month. And you spend $40 every 2 days on coffee, bro.
Right.
Don't let me come on here and start preaching. Don't let. But I will say, for those that want to, please, if you would like to become a Recording Academy member, you have until March 1st. No, you have till February 20. What do we have? 27, 26, 28 days, whatever, in this month to DM me. I need your name, your stage name, your genre. I'll ask you for the stuff. But if you're not following me, I'm not replying. It's just a small ask. The other thing is just put out a good product. Put out something that you think would win. Like, don't put out something that you just think is going to be like, oh, just let me make this in the back of my car real quick. I mean, because if you're going to end up being the representation for the spoken word category. Matter of fact, go back and listen to the last 15 nominees. How about that?
Mhm.
And I was 2 out of the 15. Hello? And Jay Ivy was 2 out of the 15. So that's 4 minus. Now you only got 11 to listen to. How about
Mhm.
that? So it's just it's a serious thing because we want you to be the best representation of all of us. On this podcast right here, we have people from Jamaica, London, white, black, brown, everything. So if you're going to be the representation of all of spoken word, of all people, of positivity, of the politics, of everything, then we want to make sure that you put out a product. And I'm not saying don't be you. I'm not saying that don't speak your mind and speak your truth, but I'm saying just know that you're representing the world. And that's what spoken word is. We're not hip hop artists. We're not country music singers. We are spoken word artists. We're storytellers, ranters, ravers, whatever you want, whatever spoken word is to you. So, and you also have to write a letter of intention. You have to intentionally be a spoken word artist.
There's so
And I
much.
was on the screening committee last year. I don't know if I will be this year, but I was on
Yeah.
the screening committee last year, and we booted some people to other categories because they were not intentional about being a spoken word artist. So I was very nervous the first year because I didn't know what I was doing. And you learn the more you go, is to answer your question. I know I kind of went left with some information, but I was scared and I made a mistake and told myself, you're not going to win because you don't know what you're doing. And I realized part of that was true. Everybody thinks they have the best album, so who knows who had the best album? I don't know. You're supposed to think you have the best album, right? That's why you entered. So there's nothing wrong with thinking that. You're supposed to think you have the best album. Of course, I
Yeah.
thought I had the best album, but I thought I had the best album this year. Um, but I learned way more that year and then this year, and going forward,
Yeah.
we keep going.
A
So I
lot of
was
a lot of what you
nervous.
said is in relation to, even if you do have the best album, that's not enough. Because if you don't have all of what that sustains the best album, it doesn't matter.
If they don't know you to vote for you, if you have the best, you know, do y'all ever watch the Olympics? Put up an emoji. If you ever watch the Olympics, it could be anything. It could be backgammon. They got Olympics for everything now, right? It could be ping pong. And they put up whatever the Olympic score is. And it could be you or somebody that you know. And then you say, I knew Carl could run faster than that in high school, or I knew John Joe could do backgammon better than that in 12th grade. Put up an emoji if you knew somebody. But if they don't know you, they don't know to come for you. So that's why I'm saying if you decide that you want to put up an album, it is February 19th. If you decide you want to submit an album by August 30th of this year, you late. I'm not saying don't start. I'm just saying start now.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's more than the talent. It's always, even in basketball, it's more than the talent. There's a lot of talented people that won't put the work in, right? There's a lot of talented people that won't do this right here.
I know people get tired of hearing the Michael Jordan story, but that's the best,
Yeah.
one of the best stories about him. He sucked. I give you a better one that y'all can relate to. You know who sucked? Kanye sucked.
Oh, yeah.
Kanye West opened for me as a poet in 2003 in Miami, and he was horrible. Horrible as a poet.
I've never known that. First time I heard that.
Ask Rashida Bartley. She was one who ran the show. She's still alive and well and lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep. And he sucked. We connected. I thought we were gonna be friends. I did. He gave me his album. He was like, "You were really good. Let me give you my album. It's called Through the Wire. It's my mixtape."
Wow.
When he got in a car accident and had that brace across his face.
Wow. Y'all just got a piece of history.
But I'm only 25, y'all, but
And that's connected to this. All of what she's saying is connected to what Latoya just said. People are starting to put heavy words and titles on me, and it's a bit uncomfortable.
She said, what now?
I think you got to scroll up, right? So the word uncomfortable means growth. Like, so if you're always comfortable, you're not growing. It's like a small flower or even a seedling of a flower, right? It's in the ground. It literally has to break the ground to become a flower. To even grow to become a flower, it has to go through a lot of uncomfortableness, right? So if you're uncomfortable, you're in the right place. If this space here is like uncomfortable for you, like you're not used to this, you're in a good place. You're in the right direction. All right. All right, cool. That's strategy. Now let's talk about our next moves. Let's talk about our next moves. What's your next move? What is your what's happening this coming week in the next 7 to 30 days before we meet again? Like, with all of what we've shared, or even beyond this call, what do you think your next move is?
Ooh, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Queen.
Oh my God. I need to, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I post more flyers about my events than I post me doing poetry. I
Right.
need to post more about me. I need to post me doing poetry on my
Right.
page so people
Right.
know that I do poetry.
Right.
So my goal, I put in my calendar, which is how I learned to do things from somebody else's workshop, because I go to everybody's workshop that I, want to learn from. I put in my calendar every other day, post some sort of visual video that uses my music, or
Yes.
I post me doing a poem, either just in my house or a live video, but something either using my music for a visual or something of me doing poetry
That's good.
every other day, because I'm
All
doing
right.
too many flyers.
That means we're holding Queen Sheba accountable. We're gonna be on her page looking for the videos. That's good. No, that's like again, your poems are your products. We need to see what you're selling. We need to see what's happening. Yes, we know your name, we know your face on the flyer, but we want to see that work. We want to see that work. So, Casey, go for it.
Hold on. Everybody can see me and hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so next on my list of things to do, we were contacted, JICU was contacted by the Caribbean Literature Conference. It's based in Los Angeles. So they normally invite people from the region to fly up to them. And even before all the fires broke out, they had already decided that they want to just come to us. Instead of having us come to them, they'll just come to us. So they want to come to Jamaica. They want to come to the Caribbean, and Jamaica is their first stop. So we are going to be putting on a 4-day poetry and storytelling festival. So this World Storytelling Day is on the 20th. World Poetry Day is on the 21st. So JICU is going to be the people on the ground handling all of that business. And then, because again, you lead with other things, right? Just like what Christoph was saying. So we have started leading with, bringing poetry into storytelling, because there's storytelling competitions, like very big, lucrative storytelling competitions. So we say, oh, throw some poets in there to just do some performances as well. Why not? And we get paid to put on these events, because poets can be event planners as well, and MCs and judges. So we've been collaborating in that way. And so we have started our own branch as JICU called Talk the Things. So that's just talking. If you're on a mic, if you're on a stage with a mic, we just deliberately left the name broad to make it flexible, So we could do a Talk the Things Kingston, Talk the Things London, Talk the Things New York, that kind of thing. And we can move about and bring poets and storytellers together. So we're going to be doing that. So that is our next major project right now, over the next 30 days.
Beautiful. Awesome. One of the first words she said and she quickly fixed it. And that was I. And she quickly changed it to we. Because when you use I, it sounds like you're the only one in your business. When you use we, it sounds like you have a team. So that alone, that small tweak says it means a lot. When I speak of what I do and what I offer, I'm always saying we because I'm not speaking of my own capacity. Right? I'm able to say the Poet Life is an international organization because of you all. Not because of me. I can't be everywhere, but I can say that yes, we can work with that school in Jamaica. Because you know why? I can call Britton, I can call Casey, I can call Fabian. Of course, we can work with that organization in Atlanta because I'm calling Queen Sheba. Right? So because of your network, you don't have to turn down anything. They don't want to fly you out, not a problem. You still can make it happen. As long as you charge well, you can make sure that you bake your partner into the budget so they can be paid well. Right? So change the I's to we's, even if you are the only person. They don't need to know all that. The way you present yourself before 3 years from now, before 3 years ago, Poet Life was just me. So whatever you saw that was going out that looked like it was a bunch of people putting a bunch of stuff out, literally just me. But because I made sure that the quality of what I put out looked like a bunch of professionals, I was able to make some major moves. Right? Britton, go for it.
Yeah, so we as JICU will be hosting a high school based poetry competition. Not hosting, sorry, judging. I will be there as a member of JICU to judge. And this will be my first time within that capacity. So it's
Nice.
another uncomfortable space to lean into that space of
Yeah,
unfamiliarity and my first foray within that capacity. So I'm actually excited about it.
for sure. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anytime you feel fearful, nervous, just say to yourself, this is who I am. This is what I do. Keep saying that. This is what I do. Oh, and say it with an attitude. This is what I do. Changes the game. If you got to go speak somewhere and you feel inadequate, this is what I do. Obviously, because the opportunities for me. All right. Latoya said, I currently have 3 poetry dates this weekend. Woo, you can be working. And more before the end of the month. Sheesh. Returning inquiry emails, definitely. Launching new merch, beautiful. Have potential opportunities contingent upon finishing my book in time for Poetry Month. That's what I'm talking about. Don't spread stuff so wide and give yourself so much space. Like, get to the work. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. One more time. Turn the TV off. It's not serving you at all. And we're old enough to say, listen, I ain't got a lot of time left. So I don't have time to be playing around and sitting on the couch eating popcorn. Like, if you really calculated how much time you spend watching TV, it will send you to a room somewhere, because most people watch at least 40 hours of TV a week. The same amount of hours that they work their job, and don't even count the phone and scrolling. We'll binge watch 7 hours of TV, but won't put hours into building a foundation that sustains the art that we say is our purpose. Aubrey, go for it.
Yes, sir. I'm glad I can kind of show my face and kind of talk and all that with between what I'm doing. So I appreciate your patience in that. But
yeah.
Short term, we have next week we have our first open mic for the youth coming up, where we kind of give students a place to kind of share their art, whether it be like through poetry,
nice,
music, and all that, because there's something like that for the kids around our community. So we're kind of fulfilling a niche that isn't there for students. So we're having that this next week. And within the next couple months, I'm getting prepped for my my fourth poetry book coming out, and just kind of playing the tour around it. And this tour is kind of different and unique in that I'm collaborating with one of my friends out on the West Coast who has a VR business, and we're figuring out how to like integrate VR and poetry together for this tour to kind of give people a different feel poetically. So just trying to balance both, being the educator and poet these next few months, and just making sure they both get VR, sorry, not VR.
Yeah.
But kind of give both the adequate attention that they deserve to kind of like thrive and all.
That's good. Virtual reality, y'all, you know, the knock Oculus or whatever they call it, that type of stuff. Aubrey, you were speaking about feeling burnt out and you know, that's a part of it. That don't go away. But what does remedy it is celebrating your small wins. This is what me and Talawa was talking about last night. It feels like you're just doing a lot of stuff, but then I ask you, right? Talawa said, I feel like I did a lot and it feel like I did nothing. And I said, tell me what you did. Like 15 different things in the past 7 days. I said, well, slow down. What are we talking about? You did more than I did. Right? So it's a perspective shift. Right? Like, because you're in it, it feels like there's no movement. And because you've gotten better, those things that you do so easily now that wasn't easy before, it's just like, oh, it's just, you know, easy work. But somebody behind you is like, yo, how did you do that? Right? So to fix and replace the despair of nothing's happening, write down the things that are happening, and then show appreciation for all of those things and document your process. And what we got to the bottom of is there's always stuff to do. But if you're not writing it down and making it plain, you're just going to know that you got a lot of stuff to do and you do none of it. So begin to write down all of the things that you've gotten done. And soon you're going to find out, in the past 3 days, I got a whole list of things that I've gotten done. And thank God for it. Show your appreciation for it, because without appreciation and gratitude, you block that magnetism. Gratitude and appreciation creates magnetism. Like what? Like if I gave you something and you showed no appreciation for it, you think I'm gonna give you something else? I'm not giving you nothing. I tell my daughters that all the time. People think my daughter's gonna have me wrapped around the finger. No, not if they don't deserve it. Right? Like that's not good parenting. You know what I'm saying? Right? So if you want to be blessed more, appreciate what you already have, appreciate all the things that you've done. Meta screenplays, talk to me.
And first of all, I want to thank you. When I got introduced to the Poet Network, I was bedridden. I had an accident playing golf of all things. I had sciatica, couldn't walk in September, and I was in the bed. I'd been sitting on these stories for 2 years. And for one, I can't remember why, but I bought the workbook, your workbook, before I got into the classes. And that was the best thing, that it just woke me up. I went from, my pen name to, the entity. I got my first book published. I got a book signing in March, and this Saturday, I'm inviting all of my voice actors to come over my house. We're going to practice because they're going to be they're going to be portraying my stories. My stories are based off of this, like Dolomite meets Dr. Seuss.
I love it.
I just wanted to focus on the children because I have 4 grandchildren now. And, when you look at some of the things that the children are into, like Roblox,
yeah,
I don't know or not, but Roblox has a area where it's the devil something.
I
But
know.
children join that and they start doing bad things. So I wanted to focus on the positive morals and everything. So I'm really focusing on that. I went to my grandson's school for his winter concert. I don't know why it was so late. It was a couple of weeks ago. And I met with the assistant principal. And lo and behold, he said, "Man, we were looking for Black authors. Now, I don't know what they want to do, but in that mix, so everything just seems to be opening up." And I've been taking a lot of notes, I want to open up my signing with some jazz now. My 2 sons, one plays saxophone, one plays bass guitar. I want to have a videographer and a photographer. I didn't even think of that. So I've been taking some really good notes. Lapel mic. I want to put my mission on my website. I forgot to do that. I start writing my support system down, PR person, social pilot software. So this has been really helpful. And the next couple of months, I have 7 volumes of my stories. Each volume will have 10 couplets in it. So that's my long term. Short term, of course, is getting my book signing out the way. So yeah, thank you, man. It's been great.
Listening to you speak, Rick, 2 words, and that's for everybody listening. No excuse.
Right.
No excuse. Y'all sitting in your 20s talking about, I ain't got time. Come on, man. If y'all don't see in the network how often Rick posts, those are wins. Those are wins. He's documenting his process. And then my comment today, I just hope that you also are documenting your process like you're documenting it in here, out there. So out there can see you. We see you doing the work. Keep showing us, because that is encouraging us, but show them just as much or even more the work that you're doing. Because that says you know how to do the work without even you making the statement, I know how to do the work. If you all didn't see me working, you all wouldn't be here. And this speaks to how how you can and should be posting online. So it takes the guesswork out of what should I post. If you're doing the work, I'm gonna show you something real quick. Y'all see this tripod with my phone? You all are gonna see clips of me speaking to you all in the coming days, because I'm showing people that I'm doing the work. It is 10:45 for all of us almost, right? Who else? Everybody else is watching TV right now. And we're working. Show people and inspire people that you're willing to, you're investing. You might not be investing money right now, but you're investing time, the most valuable thing that we have. You're being productive right now for 2 hours. But who knows that? If they don't know that you're on a Zoom learning, they'll assume that you're watching TV. So when you get off of here, like I shared with Talawa, when you get off of here and anything else where you're investing into what you're creating, then they need to know what just took place. Hey, yo, just got off the Zoom call with Poetry Business Network, man. I got so much. Matter of fact, one thing I got out of game
Listen,
changer.
I need to jump in.
Go.
Listen, the traction that we got, Christoph, remember when we did the Latin American
Yes.
chapter at the IAF?
Yes.
It might have seemed small, but there's a movement there, because it's after that meeting, they came and they said the Latin American chapter, which has existed for years, they said they want them joining more of the Caribbean chapter meetings. So they said the Caribbean people look like they're taking this thing serious. And they said that they want the Latinos, the Latin American chapters, to start looking at us now. And we just
Right.
started. It has literally been 1 year. Just because of that one thing. And I think I remember when you posted it, I think it was a screenshot. I think I took the screenshot actually of the planning meeting for that one.
Yes.
Because I had to be working with the interpreters and the lawyers who were coming on and all of that. And it was just from that, they said, what? You're bringing in somebody and this person, because again, before that meeting, none of them thought you could make money from poetry. And so I had to be trying to talk into them. And I say, no, forget this. And I just pick up the phone and say, oh, Christoph, what are you doing right now?
Yep. I was
Right. Driving.
Pulled over. She called me on WhatsApp out of the blue. We haven't talked in months since I've
Yes.
traveled to Jamaica. She said, what are you doing right now? I got an opportunity.
Right now.
International, I said, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was me and Christoph and a bunch of these high-flying IP lawyers from Argentina and Mexico and Colombia. And they had no idea. I said, wow, really? But we need to do something about this. And then they set up the meeting with the Latin American chapter. And then that meeting with the Latin American chapter has had them saying they want the Latin American chapter to follow us in the Caribbean.
Who's following you? And I don't mean who's following you on Instagram. Who's following your lead? Right? Like, but no one will follow you if they can't see you doing work. So show them work. And your followers will then transform into supporters. Followers don't mean anything. However, they do mean something on certain platforms like LinkedIn. If you are not on LinkedIn, not as an employee, not as somebody searching for a job, if you are not on LinkedIn as a professional artist or a CEO, you need to create a LinkedIn page. for your personal brand as a CEO and or artist. And from that page, you then create your business page when you establish your business. Because if you don't know, and I didn't know, LinkedIn is more than just a digital resume holder. LinkedIn is the Facebook version. No, it's like Facebook for professionals. Just like you're in DMs talking to your friends from college, you can be in the DMs talking to the CEO of a large organization. I got to Belgium recently because of LinkedIn, where they flew me out, covered the lodging and everything, because I intentionally post on LinkedIn the work that I do, because not everybody, but majority of the people on LinkedIn are looking for their next partner, looking for their next deal, looking for their next business relationship. Don't get so excited about Instagram, because on Instagram is a bunch of scrolling and see what's going on. On LinkedIn, they are intentionally scrolling to see what connections they can make. Jay Talawa, you got your hand up? Go for it. And then we're gonna do last Q&A for the last 10 minutes. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so just pretty much what's coming up this Sunday. I have my first ever event under the Talawa Poetry brand.
Nice.
Film therapy. So it's a film screening, a discussion, and a open mic. So we're watching this movie called In the Mood for Love, and then right after we're gonna have a small little writing section where we do get to create poetry, and then also discuss not just the poetry but also the film in and of itself.
Ooh, genius.
And within the next 30 days, this is tangentially related, not directly related to my business, but related to me as an artist and a creative, is that I will be performing in my second play. So I'm not just a poet, I'm an actor. These are things that I use in my performing capabilities, and they also do lend towards my creative business, and they do also link to my creative business. So we are doing the play Animal Farm, and it's by an arts education company out here called Art Tribute. And it's a key connection, for me, mainly because for a variety of different reasons, but one thing to me is that it stands out as a creative business within the community that is using the performing arts to teach in schools. And that sort of aligns with one of the things that I'm doing I'm using the performing arts to teach self-mastery, personal development. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So
listen, when you make that transformation, you will be more than someone to hire to be an employee, right? Yes, they might have a poetry program. They want you to come and teach, so they hire you or contract you, right? But what if they reached out to you because you're a poetry business owner and they want you to create the program? It's different, majorly different, because it goes from they pay you $100 per session and transforms into them paying you thousands of dollars to create the program. And hey, you may have never done it before, but you know somebody who has. And then you partner with that person and you get OJT, on the job training. You let that person guide you through this project. And now you know how to do it now. So that first time, you don't have to split it down the middle, but you can hire or contract Britain, or you can contract Judy to say, I know you've done this before, so I would love for you to work with me. This is how much I can pay you. And I need you to show me the ropes. My first big contract was to create a poetry contest for a tobacco control organization 2 to 3 years ago. And I know how to do it, but I didn't necessarily have the time to do it. But because I charged well, right, I was able to pay one of my poet colleagues who do amazing work as it relates to creating poetry events. And I was able to pay her twice because I paid her to be the hostess as well. So she got to double dip. She got paid $1,000 to plan the event for me, and then $300 to host it. Right? So now you become that person that creates opportunities for the community. You go from needing opportunities to creating opportunities. That's why it's so important for you to learn how to charge well. All right? So you can leverage the resumes and portfolios of these people on this call. So you can be listening. I'm listening to Rick and the productions, because what he's doing, he's creating productions. He's doing the writing, and he has folks who love the stage to portray and act out what he's writing.
Christoph, can I just say one thing real quick about what you
Go
just
for it.
said? So I read a lot of self-help books, and that what you actually mentioned, there's a term for it. It's called the canvas strategy. And it's coined by Ryan Holiday, and this came from his book called Ego is the Enemy. That what you're doing is finding opportunities for other people to succeed and shine, and that thus allows you to succeed by giving up people opportunities to shine.
Yep. That, and it allows you to be in 10 different places at one time. Thank you, Kaniki. Kaniki, talk to me. How are you? You're on mute. You're on mute. Go for it.
Oh, hey, I'm in here with the baby. So you know how that goes.
Kaniki? I gotta let the folks know who you are.
Hey folks, I am Kaniki Jakarta, the first Black Poet Laureate of Alexandria, Virginia. I am serving as the poet in residence for Northern Virginia Fine Arts Association. I perform poetry, but I make most of my money by teaching what I know. So consulting, going into the schools, which is what you were talking about, like creating curriculums. I love to do the one-off. The curriculums are a little more difficult because then you are a teaching artist, right? But I love partnering with schools so that I can go in and do the one-off, like the one workshops, and then I come back every year and do more workshops. So like if you're like, I'm just gonna do the seniors, then next year those seniors they haven't seen you, so you can actually do what you did the year before with the same. You can keep doing it over and over and over, right? So that is what I have been doing. I love the teaching artists. I also am partnered with an organization here that works with women who are in transition. They've just got out of jail. So like transitioning homes. And then I'm working with them to like inspire them using poetry for outlet, teaching them how to create their voice and to be able to speak, speak up for themselves. I make them introduce themselves every time. So like I said, I get most of my fun from performing. I get most of my money from teaching what I know, if that makes sense. So whatever it is that you can teach, like I publish books, my Amazon bestseller. I teach people what I know. And that is how I'm able to keep food on the table, live where I live. But performance is good. But like you said earlier, if you're not traveling anywhere, those run out. And also, my assistant, what she does is she looks for other events, like think outside of the box of poetry, right? So she goes on Eventbrite and she sees all the events that's happening on Eventbrite, right? And then so she'll then contact those people and say, hey, do you want a poet to open your workshop, your whatever it is that you're having? So like think outside of the box like that. And also, I found out years ago that schools sometimes don't have a budget for speaking, but they have a budget for products. So all of you guys who says that you have books, like I did a workshop. I did 2 workshops. They paid me $75 a workshop. I did 2 workshops in one day, $75 a workshop, but they bought 44 books. So winning, right? And I didn't have to go far. So, I mean, just using your network of people. Somebody said, what's your number? Using your network of people is the biggest thing. Finding out, like I pretty much got into schools by making a Facebook post and says, hey, where are my teachers at in Alexandria? And people just tag them. And I was like, hey, here's a proposal. Can I, so you never know who you know, especially like you're on Facebook, whatever. I actually got on this from Facebook, right? But I've known you, Christoph, for a while, but yeah, so just you never know who you know. Like, can I come into your school and do that? And if you're thinking about teaching artists, find out other networks, find out, and you go to events, find out who are the people who sponsor the events. If you are a person who do events, when you go to the events where somebody's booked you, find out who sponsored that event so that they sponsor events so that they can sponsor your event. You know what I mean? So it's just about networking with other people, thinking outside of the box of just regular open mics, because you're not going to make it off of $200, $500. You're not going to make it like that. Not if you're trying to make a living off of it, right? So just my husband, I won't let him get a regular job. We some gigging people, but I won't let him get a regular job. I have a daughter now who I am desperately trying not to put into daycare. So she'll be 3 in April. So I'm trying to stay home with her, and she goes a lot with me. So somebody said, did you sell your book or textbook? No, I did not sell my book as a textbook or curriculum. No, because my book is a poetry book that I use to teach people poetry forms out of. So the books is, different forms. So I use the book itself. So I use it as a curriculum and say, this is what a haiku is. This is what a free verse is. I teach from the book and give them examples of the poetry, but I haven't made a book of curriculum yet. But that's a good idea. As soon as I get time. Thank you. I should have said nothing. Then you're going to make me talk. They're looking crazy. You're making me talk.
No, you're good. You're good. And there's a
This
reason
is
why
really
I
great.
wanted you to introduce yourself, because I love hearing your introduction. I knew you were going to, and this spoke about the titles, right? When you acquire or attain a title, that title doesn't leave you, right? She's the first Black. That title stays
Forever.
with her and will, like Queen Sheba, 2-time Grammy nominated. That's always her introduction until she goes to glory, So appreciate the names and the titles that you acquire.
And
All right.
use them.
Beautiful. Let's do 5 minutes of Q&A. I know we're over time, but I did want to make sure that I covered any questions that you have real quick. Let's do, what is it called? Fire, whatever y'all call it. Let's do some Q&As. Raise your hand Tamara, go for it.
Hi, good evening.
Hey.
I have a quick question because I saw the email about the group coaching and I responded. So I wanted to know when would that be taking place?
Got you. So we just closed out November's Poet Transformational cohort with Jay Talawa. But you are all welcome to the March cohort. It's 3 Mondays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those of us who have kids and everything. You know what I mean? We making it work with the time that we have. We put the kids to bed and we get to the work, right? And yeah, that is where we help and guide you and help you brainstorm to establish your poetry business and you make that transformation. So I will respond to you with the details of that. If anybody else is interested, we're only taking 8 per month. All right. So lock in for March. So you are super prepared for the spring and summer. Here's what I want to say about that. Just like businesses, do you know how you walk into a department store and this season or holiday is wrapping up and they're already selling and promoting for the next whatever, right? You need to be doing the same thing. If you all are not working towards Poetry Month, what are we doing? That's our month. And these companies and organizations and schools and churches are obligated to do something related to poetry. Why not them contact you? Or why not you contact them? Your whole month of April should be blocked up now. So from tonight on to April, I need you on your social media using it intentionally, not before I said turn the TV off. Now I'm saying stop playing on social media because you're watering down your brand. Meaning, I want when people see me post, it's about something. It has a call to action. It has me doing work. So when they see me post, let me see what Chris posted. It's always about something that he's doing, something, right? I don't have time to be talking about what everybody's talking about on social media. I don't have time to be arguing in comments, tearing up my brand, and they go to my page and try to cancel me. Like, you know, like we don't have time for that. You want to do that, create a separate page, right? But you gotta have a presentation about yourself that says, I'm more than this individual. I have a standard for, now here's the thing. You may not think you have a brand, but every person has a brand. It's called a reputation. Every person, whether you have a business or not, right? And we all see people posting online. We're like, what in the world are they talking about? You don't want them seeing what you post and saying, oh, they ain't talking about nothing. Whether you're going live, you sitting there not talking about anything. If you go live, have a topic to talk about. I know I'm going on a tangent, but I'm glad that we went down this route because it's super important for when people come across you. Like Kaniki just said, she's on here because she saw what I posted tonight or whatever day it was. But if you're posting about 50 different things, you're going to water down and people are not going to care about what you're posting. Your post should make them stop scrolling. All right. All right. Yes. So I would love to see faces in March for the cohort. Here's an announcement if you don't know, but we are launching the Poetry Business Institute. Right? It is a subscription-based school where we will be connecting with people like Kaniki, who, as you can tell, has a wealth of knowledge, where we will be paying her to teach a class live. We'll be paying Queen Sheba to teach us how to walk through this Grammy submission. We'll be paying Black Chakra. If you don't know him, you need to go learn about him, about how to perform with power. Okay. And ongoing. So there'll be 2 or 3 live classes per month that you can partake in. If you miss the classes, you'll also have the recordings as well, but also resources and connections and all of the above. You'll see and hear more about it. But as you can tell, we try to keep the momentum high. And how do you do that? What just took place tonight, again, you'll start to see some clips that come from tonight that then carry over to what else we have going on. Never let the momentum die. If you did something awesome yesterday, it should carry on to something already planned for tomorrow. That way, you never have to keep building up momentum. You stay high because you always have something going on. All right. Any more questions? Y'all are good. Casey, go for it. Sorry, you had your hand up.
Yeah, no, it's not a question, it's just a suggestion. So one of the benefits of having a group is that because it's not Casey, it's Jaiku. So and yeah, so I don't have to depend on just myself to keep the momentum going high. I can, if whether it's me, whether it's Britain, whether it's Talawa, like so Jaiku, we can, because we're just putting ourselves as we are just here to empower the poetry community. So we can, it makes content a lot easier for us to continue to generate, whether it's even competitions, especially international publication opportunities, that kind of thing. So that kind of helps as well. So I know that what we did last year, here the we again, see how it come out quick this time, and I even start off with I know what we did last year, right? Yeah. Is that we kept on seeing all these different poetry events happening around World Poetry Day. So Jaiku did not plan any events. We just did one poster and just called it World Poetry Week. And we just put everybody's event on the poster. So then, and we just put our logo on it. We put our contact information at the bottom. So everybody who wanted to find out about their event or wanted their event being posted, they were automatically promoting us. And then word got out, and then National Library of Jamaica heard about it. I got to perform on our national television stations, and then Britain and I, because of that, Britain and Talawa all got to perform at this huge, it was the biggest World Poetry Day gala they've ever thrown, because I think it was the 25th anniversary of World Poetry Day at the time. So then it's just things like that, because we promote the National Library of Jamaica as well. We're promoting everybody. So you don't even have to create your own content. You can leverage other people's content and other people's events and still draw attention to yourself. And then after you do that, they'll sometimes reward you by giving you your own platform.
So good. Last thing I'm gonna leave with, why don't more people know about what you're doing? Why doesn't the news know about what you're doing? You're doing great things. Why aren't you reaching out to the news? Why aren't you using ChatGPT to create your press release? And then you go to Google and find the emails for all of the news submissions, and then you send them that press release that says I'm doing this. Watch when we do this for the Poetry Business Network and we tell the world that there's a organization that's teaching poets how to create careers. And then I'm able to contact Casey and say, hey, I need you to do an interview to say that you're representing Jamaica. Kaniki, I need you to do an interview to say that you're the first Black poet. Right. You can do that, like Casey just said, amongst 4 people. Let me take that back. 4 poetry business owners. And like she just said, come together like Voltron and make it a thing and draw eyes to the thing, and everybody wins. This don't work in a silo. This doesn't work doing this alone. That's why it's a network, and it's so important for us to throw away what we've known, the clicks and that ain't helping nobody. It's not even helping you. Right? We hear that in poetry, you know, that's not helping poetry. So there's a reason why I'm sharing the knowledge that I have and creating a platform for you all to share the knowledge and experiences that you have. Look, I gotta go because I'll talk for another hour. Listen, I appreciate y'all. Let's stay connected. If you are not in the Poetry Business Network, I encourage you to do so. And when you get off of here, get on your social media and intentionally let them know that you spent the last 2.5 hours learning and doing the work. All right. And tag us. We'll repost it and share it. Cool. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have an awesome night and get some rest. Let's keep on getting the work done. All right. Appreciate y'all. Peace.